Now we get it.
All right, the Thursday, October 5th, 2017 regular meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission is called to order. Do the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Dutter, would you like to lead us?
Sure. Right hand over your heart, ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair Firestone, just place your mic.
Oh, thank you. All right. Sorry if you couldn't hear that.
Yeah, just remember your mics.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The meeting was called to order, if you missed that. Okay, roll call?
Yeah. Commissioner Gilbert,
Here.
Commissioner Ittner,
Here.
Commissioner Firestone,
Here.
Commissioner Murphy,
Here.
Commissioner Dutter.
Here.
Absent tonight is Commissioner Jacobson.
Okay, public comments? Doesn't look like anyone.
We do have a public comment.
Public comment.
We do have a public comment. Oh,
Wow.
So, well, let's pass this forward. I think she goes by Miss A.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have to say.
I'm so sorry. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak during public comment. I just wanted to give you all a really quick update on Ojai Day and our progress and what we kind of have going on. Excuse me. As you all know, Ojai Day is October 21st this year, and we're in really good shape to have a great event. We have four really excellent. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling the best. 4 excellent stage managers that are planning a great entertainment lineup. And our Ojai Avenue primary is sold out, and the vendor packets went out today. So, and we'll do secondary this evening after your meeting, and hopefully get those out in the mail tomorrow, and then Libby Park on next Tuesday. So everything's moving along smoothly, and we're looking forward to a great event. We are in desperate search of zone leaders, which is a paid Ojai Day team position, and also volunteer Ojai Day team people. So if you know anybody who's interested, we are having an Ojai Day team meeting on Tuesday, October 10th in the Libby Bowl Green Room. And if you know any organizations that are looking for a quick fundraiser, we will trade donation for your nonprofit organization and for volunteer hours up to amount of $500 at a compensation rate of $10 per hour per volunteer. So if you know anybody who just wants to make a couple $100 for a quick fundraiser, we'd love to have people come out and have more of the community engaged in the event.
The volunteers, are an age limit on that? No?
We'll take them.
So high school students?
High
High school
good?
students would be great.
Okay.
High school students who are willing to roll up their sleeves.
How many do you need? Because I run a volunteer club at my school, so I have a lot of people that I know.
Okay, that would be lovely. We have shifts that start. We typically start Friday afternoon with the setup of the park. We typically don't have a huge need right there because we have a pretty robust volunteer base then. And then starting again at 8 p.m. when Ojai Avenue closes, we kind of gear back up to get the event set up. And then starting at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, that's a really not necessarily desirable shift, but we do need lots of people to help get vendors in, get things moved around. Midday we have a lull, and then we have a huge need from about 5:30 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. to help with the cleanup. That's a big push for us as well. And if you've got them, we'll take them.
Are there any? Sorry. Go ahead. Are there any major changes this year from prior years?
Yes. So due to ABC permitting issues, excuse me, the Lions Club Beer and Wine Garden is going to be moved to South Ventura Street between where the Ojai Valley Cleaners is and what used to be Hi Ho Burger, now the Nest, which I just saw is open, by the way. I saw an open sign there. Very exciting. So we're moving the Beer and Wine Garden there. And then the Ojai's own stage, which is kind of moved around a little bit. We're doing an experiment and putting it mid-block down kind of by the tunnel in the arcade and putting that right there.
So the stage and the beer and wine garden are going to be separated?
Mm-hmm. Well, the Beer and Wine Garden will have a stage.
Oh, they'll have their own, okay.
Yes, we have 5 stages at Ojai Day. Children's stage, teen stage, Ojai's own stage, formerly Gypsy Gazebo stage, currently unnamed, and then the Beer and Wine Garden stage.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Fantastic.
So that's kind of where we're at.
I was going to suggest for the volunteer needs, if you could maybe send a note to maybe Sophocles and Allison, maybe we can all kind of spread the word.
That would be great. I would love that. I'll do that when I
Yeah.
get back to my desk.
Facebook and all.
And when was that meeting in the Libby Bowl Green Room, you said? Sorry, could you say that date?
October 10th at 6:30 p.m. And we've got it up on the Facebook page and all that good stuff.
And
then
the Ojai Day posters are out?
the Ojai Day posters
Right.
are out. I'll roll some up and put them out the back door so you guys can grab one.
I'm going to pass this little flyer around. I brought our very own Megan Sennett, one of our administrative assistants. She did this little flyer, so that's the Ojai Day poster on the flyer.
That's also exciting.
Could we post something on the recreation Facebook page about volunteers needed, or is that?
We can.
Yeah.
We will.
I'll share the event with you.
Yes,
Great.
please.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Thank-
update.
Well,
And-
thank you guys very much for the suggestions and for spreading the word about volunteers and team members. We also, if somebody wants to take on a leadership role, we also do have paid positions available. Well, paid, tokens of gratitude. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys all out there.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Amber.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, sorry. I just realized recently that the first Ojai Day was held in 1917. So this is the 100-year birthday, although there was a large hiatus in between, so it's very fun to have
Wow.
that be occurring this year.
Nice.
So, all right, great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay, we have a very exciting presentation tonight.
We can see we're thrilled.
We have Wendy Signorella and her dog Lucy.
Yes, sure. Wendy's gonna, I actually suggested to Wendy, at least on the verbal part of her introduction, is to go over to the mic so people can see, and even though they can hear her here, they can't see her. So I've asked her to go over there. Wendy's been with the department for a couple of years off and on. She had done it a year ago and then went on a bit of a hiatus and then returned back to the rec department. We're happy to have her back, and her class, this class has quite a decent amount of participants in it this session.
It sure
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
So did you, I was just gonna make a little announcement about myself and what I do. So Wendy Signorella, I'm a certified dog trainer. I've been doing this for many, many years, but professionally for 6 years. I've only been in Ojai for 2, and it's been developing, which is awesome. I also was a vet tech for 25 years, and I'm sorry, not 20 years. Don't need to add. And then I used to compete in a fly ball and obedience. And right now I'm just doing basic classes. So I do a manners class, I do a tricks class, and I also do work with Pets for Vets. And they are an organization that pulls shelter dogs for veterans. And then the dogs are trained to what they call a CGC status. So they're not a trained service dog, like for a, like an alert dog or something like that, but they are trained nicely for the veterans. So I brought Lucy here today, and she does quite a few tricks that we do. Is it good to have her here?
Or
did you want her here? Okay,
for,
okay.
for ease of, for our viewing.
Yes.
And the audience will be
So
able to see that
what's-
too, if there is an audience.
So I do it's called positive reinforcement. It's really just finding what's motivating to the animal, the learner. For a lot of times we start with food because that's very motivating and quick. They do it really quick. Other things you can use are toys, environment. Dog wants to go chase a squirrel. Okay, do this first. Kind of like eating your vegetables and then you need to have dessert. So she was a rescue dog, was left in a backyard in a home that was abandoned, and I've had her for about 4 or 5 years. and she's kind of learned by proxy, but she's pretty good. So I'll just do a couple of her little easy things that she knows. Something I like to teach all my dogs is crating for a multitude of reasons, one of them being if your dog ever needs to be confined, say we have an earthquake and your dogs need to be kenneled or whatever it is, it's just nice that they're already comfortable. I see it all the time in the vet field that the dogs, they're left there because they have to have something done with them and they're panicking. So I teach my dogs to go into their crates easily, they're comfortable in the crates, and I also use it for other things. So for instance, Lucy, I'll just do a little hand touch with her. Touch, good, sit, good, sit, yes, down, down. Okay, good girl, yay! So she has learned all this with food rewards. And like I was mentioning to you earlier, like the things that some people see, the freestyles on TV that you're seeing, those are all trained with food and lots of it. People think you cannot train reliable behaviors without, with food, but that's entirely not true. So she clearly can do behaviors without the treats, so touch, kennel. And then part of her cue is to lay down in there, so she didn't need food for that, and that's the part people get stuck on. They're like, they don't know how to wean them off the treats, but it's possible. And it is for good performance. Everybody likes to get paid for a good job. So, good girl, yes, very good. So some of the other things she can do are, besides the touch, we can do a paw target. Good girl, good job. You can use a cone. Sometimes I teach the cones for touching them, but come here, good girl, you ready? Wait, oh, no, not there. Good girl. So it might be too close. Good girl, around. Good job. So you would start teaching around an object for teaching distance behaviors. So if I teach her now, good girl, Lucy, good girl. Yes, good job. Up close, I'm going to eventually move it further and further away. I can send my dog out and good girl and around an object. And then if I were competing in agility, this is something that's super helpful. I am not nearly as fast as this dog can run. She's super fast. So if I can send her to objects, going around them, coming back, good job, you're so good, yes you are. Okay, yes, good girl. Recall, super important. This dog got grabbed by a coyote one day when I was hiking on trail and he dropped her. And there was that split second of her looking to the car, which was the opposite direction because she wanted to go back to the car, or coming back to me and I was much further away. But her recall literally saved her. I kept calling her, Lucy, 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 what a good girl. She came running back to me. I put her on a leash, took her to the hospital because she had a nice gash in her backside. So all this, even though it's tricks or anything that you teach them, it's all stuff that is useful in everyday life. I mean, there's all kinds of other things. You can teach her, so like chin rests or any husbandry behaviors for dogs. Obviously, touching their feet is something that most dogs don't like. You can get them, good girl. She doesn't have the chin rest perfected yet, but that's something I would use for a hospital, looking at their mouth, things like that, getting them used to it, all the handling techniques. So once things are on a cue, so I do use a clicker normally, which I didn't bring with me today. The clicker makes that little sound to start the behaviors, and then once she knows them, I don't use the clicker anymore. It's just kind of perfecting certain things for them. So anybody have any questions? No?
How long have you worked with Lucy to get her to where she is?
Well, I've had her for about 5 years now.
Okay.
But it's, in all honesty, she's the third child, so she's had the least amount of training. And most of it has been sporadic. So if I was really diligent about working with her, she'd have a lot more solid behaviors on her, but and then that's all relevant. So every dog learns different at a different speed, and how much time you're going to dedicate to teaching them those things.
Is it harder to teach in groups?
Yes.
Do the dogs end up being distracted by the other dogs?
Yes, absolutely. So when you do start a group class, first night is absolute chaos. But it's really cool, and I'll have graduation next week. I love to see the end of the line, because then they are doing those things in the class setting. They are able to do that. But yeah, it is harder. Anytime you're training a dog, if you're teaching them something new, it should always start in a quiet area where there's no distractions. It's pretty much like people. I always tell people, you're training them, basic math, and then you take them outside and it's pre-algebra. They can't focus and they can't pay attention.
We were discussing whether or not this would work with children too. So
It would work with children, absolutely.
not a bad idea, actually.
Absolutely, yeah.
So question,
Yeah.
do people usually need to do more than one session? How's
It
it?
really depends on the dog and the
Yeah.
follow through. So I'm gonna say I
On
always train
average.
my dogs. I'm always doing something with them. So it's just like anything. If you stop using it, they lose it.
They lose it,
Because they
right.
don't have to do it. They don't
Right,
have
of course.
To, right. So I always use it in everyday stuff. Like if I want to have them exit a door, so they
Mhm.
don't bolt through doors.
Right.
Or they're crated in the cars. They wait for a release before they come out crates. It's just putting those little things in place. So. No matter what, you're always training. The dog is always learning
Right.
that situation. So if you only choose to train in certain times, that's the only time they're going to listen. So a lot of times people come to class and they're like, oh, they're so great in class, and then I take them home and they don't do anything. It's because they're not working it as much as they do in the class, and in
Yeah.
the situation, it's set up for them to be doing those things. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, great question.
So I'm going to make a plug for your classes now.
Okay.
So they are at the recreation department on Tuesday nights. The dog tricks class is from 5:30 to 6:30. The manners class is from 6:45 to 7:45. This session, you have one more class left in this session. So this session will end October 10th. A new session will start November 7th and run through December 12th. So if you want to register for these dog training classes, you just come over to the Recreation Department at Sarasota Park, and we'll be more than happy to take your registration for the class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you so
All
much
right,
for coming.
Wendy, thanks for coming out.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Hopefully.
Okay, police department report.
Unfortunately not here. I did send them a reminder prior to coming to this meeting tonight, and they're actually on the email list.
Yeah.
They get the agenda and everything. So I'll look into really making a stronger push to get one of the deputies to our meetings, just so they can give us an update on.
Yeah, in the
Park
meantime,
happenings.
thank you.
Yeah.
In the meantime, any questions or comments to relay to the police department?
Seems to be all quiet on the front, at least from my own just layman observations. I've been down at Lower Libby, of course, all around Sarasota, and there's definitely there's very little vandalism and or graffiti going around town, it seems like these days, at least what I've observed all around town.
Mhm. Yeah, good. Okay, Public Works, anything for Mr. Grant?
Nothing from Public Works either. I mean, you guys have heard about the courtyard shade going up. I don't know if we included that in the slideshow. I don't think we did in the PowerPoint presentation, but the shades are up. They're great. You can definitely, you step in the sun and you go under those shades, and it's, I don't know, I'll throw out a guess, 20-degree difference or something. It's pretty amazing.
Good.
So I'm sure in the summertime that space will get a lot more use
Great.
because of it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exciting. Anything to relay to Mr. Grant? Good. Okay. Okay, approval of minutes. We've got 3 sets of minutes, the June, July, and September meetings.
Thank you.
I think I have two.
Yeah, they're all together. One is just, one of them should just be
Oh, got it.
just
Okay.
a single, front and back, one pager.
Perfect.
That last one, the September 7th, it's just one page, front and back.
Yeah.
So James, too, suggested on these minutes, just to let you know that we can do, when we post them, we have quite a bit of posting to do on the city website. We're essentially all caught up, but what James suggested, and he said it's quite easy, is where we have these timelines that we can hyperlink them.
I just assumed
We
they
can
were.
hyperlink them. I'm not sure if they are when I send them to you.
They're not.
Because they aren't. They will be. When we put them on the city website, and as I said, we have
That's great.
quite a few to post, those timetables will be hyperlinked.
Good.
Just
Yeah.
a FYI to you.
That's a great feature.
Yes.
It's really convenient.
Yeah. I mean, you could go to just the city website and go to the meeting video and, take your cursor and bring it across to that time frame.
Yeah.
If you were so inclined, but hyperlinking it will just make
Yeah.
it that much quicker.
Makes it more accessible.
Yep.
So, thanks.
Yep.
Any comments on the minutes? Anything we need to change? Okay, someone want to?
Thanks to Allison for
Yes.
doing these minutes. She is now the person responsible, and so in her absence, I'll say thank you to her.
Thanks, Allison.
Thanks, Allison, wherever you are.
Do you want a motion to accept all of the minutes? Yeah, okay. I make a motion to approve the minutes for the June 1st, July 6th, and September 7th meetings.
Okay.
And I will second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Motion passes.
Motion passes.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, discussion items, establishing ad hoc committees. So these were committees that we had identified last meeting. And so we have a recommendation to establish ad hoc committees for Libby Bowl seating plan, Parks District, the Valleywide Parks District, the Soul Park acquisition, and the Ojai Unified School District partnerships. So we can discuss.
I may just, is it Soul Park acquisition or Soul Park? I don't know that acquisition was the word I would have used.
Partnership.
Or, just an exploratory Soul Park
Right.
ad hoc committee. I don't know that we need to define it at this point from my perspective.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
Exploratory? Is that more?
No,
what
I
you're
just,
saying? Oh,
Soul Park
just
ad hoc committee.
ad hoc.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
That covers it.
okay.
it might be easiest just to take volunteers for each committee.
I think we want to first make sure we want to set all these up.
Correct.
I think one in particular is the, what is it? No. Anyway, does anyone have any thoughts? I know we've discussed these already, but anything?
The Libby Bowl seating plan seems to be pretty, I don't know, hot and heavy right now in terms of and whatnot, and so does maybe the school district's debates. The Parks District and the Soul Park.
Both of those came out of the desire to do those before our joint meeting,
Right.
in the sense that we were hoping to get participation from council members on those ad hoc committees.
Right.
So I think that was the impetus to doing it now, is that when we present there, we could ask people to, council
Agreed.
members who are really interested in, particularly like the Parks District, to help to be a member of that committee.
Yeah, the Parks District and Soul Park. Well, the Parks District, I would say, and maybe not Soul Park, but the Ojai Unified is going to definitely probably need some help from council.
Well, actually, the Ojai Unified, do you think? I think the Ojai Unified is more from a programming standpoint.
Well,
Well,
I think that's.
I
what
think there's a
kinda-
lot of possibilities there besides just programming. I mean, I think you have facility discussions and whatnot as well that we could talk about, but I think that's a bigger discussion than just Parks and Rec too.
I think the use of that campus for Parks and Rec programs is probably way down the road, if at all.
Right.
Based on the joint meeting they had last week, because it seems like, at least in my opinion, we're not getting a hold of that property anytime soon.
And that's a piece of that. I think the other part is also, that's just the Chaparral location. I mean,
Right.
there's also obviously a lot of other programs and facilities we could use with the school district. We got like the after-school programs and stuff, so.
I think that's just a recreation discussion, though, from my perspective. I think that what we're looking at for that committee is recreation, programming, and possibly opportunities for sharing facilities.
I agree with, yeah,
I don't
Yeah, I
know
would
that, I
take
don't
that.
see,
I
I don't
wouldn't-
see needing a city council member on that commission, or committee myself.
I agree with that.
I think this is just a working committee to try and figure out how to best develop programs that benefit both the district and the recreation department.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's
Agreed.
a Chaparral thing in particular,
No.
because that's a bigger issue, yeah.
Can I just add, Chair Firestone, that I don't know if you'll be able to do it this evening, but since they are ad hoc committees and it might push the agenda along quicker, whatever the agendas are for each of these committees, if we set a time, an end, I don't know if it's completely possible, but to put a end date to.
I don't feel
to
comfortable
it.
with an end date personally, but I think,
Just because of the word ad hoc, because we try to just put it that way, so.
I don't think it's
There's some
required.
sort of, I don't think it is. I don't think it is
So I don't see the
either.
point in doing it. I
Well,
understand
I
what you're
get-
saying, and we can
yeah.
revisit it on a monthly basis, but I don't feel a need to put an
Sure.
end date on it.
The only, okay, and if that's your preference, I would go with that, obviously, but only insofar as it, my only point, well, I'll go back to that, is it might push the committee along to meet
I
more
think
meet more
what would push the
regularly.
committee
if it-
along
if
more
it-
is to put a starting meeting.
Okay.
That seems to be
Sure.
where we stumble.
Sure.
Not in the ending, in the beginning.
Yeah, sure, and if that's a standing monthly meeting or however they.
Well, I don't think we
vote.
also want to tie our hands on that either, because if we're going to try and add like a city council member to a particular committee, I don't know that trying to build that all in now makes sense to me, but
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yep.
Well, like I said, it's just a suggestion, not a, you should do that tonight. It's,
Okay, other thoughts on this? So we can go through, I think it'd be helpful for each one to discuss kind of what we expect they're going to
yeah,
cover.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it would be also helpful to set some tentative dates to give an update to the commission.
That's a great idea.
For each of these, so, maybe we kind of stagger it, so over the next several months.
We
we're
don't
getting
have them
updates.
all at once, yes.
Right, because I think especially with the Parks District and the Soul Park, I mean, a lot of it is just kind of collecting information and then sharing it with the commission, so it'd be good.
You could almost, if we're having a hard time fielding enough people, I think you could do those together,
Yeah,
if that committee is interested in being that active. I think it's fine if they're separate,
yeah.
but
How many people do we see on each of these committees?
Think-
Two?
Two?
two.
Okay, that sounds right.
and are we looking for a city staff liaison on
I think
each of
it'll
these as well?
depend on the committee and the time, at what point in the committee we want staff to come in. I think some of
Okay.
them can start maybe without.
So should we talk about each of these specifically, and then we can?
Sure.
Okay. So we've got the Libby Bowl seating plan.
Which seems straightforward, that the idea there would be to come up with a suggestion for a particular plan out of the three that we have.
And it sounded like really the desire of Councilmember Haney was really a lot more public outreach and using this as, in that committee to do that work.
Right, so they have a proposed plan. Is there more to it than that, than
I
what we
think-
saw? Or,
No, I mean, there are iterations of it.
right.
I would hope we could pull him in on that as well. But I think that the role would be to look at the plan as, as from the rec perspective, and then to try and involve the community as much as possible in, not just with looking at the plan, but what are their desires for the bowl and the lawn, and how do they use it, how do they want to use it? I'm just recounting what I heard from that last meeting.
And I was confused in the last meeting because, and I bet the farm, that the first proposal was based on increasing the number of seats.
It was one part of the presentation.
Was
But
a
it was
big part of the
definitely,
presentation.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but it wasn't the whole thing. It was,
No,
but it
I'm
was
not saying that
definitely
it was.
presented that way.
But
Yeah.
it was a big part, and then it was totally not that. So,
Well, it's not that it's not that, it's that,
it's not adding any seats. So it's not that.
well, it depends on how you define it, but that's fine. Again, to be fleshed out in that committee, I think, because that issue is complicated, how you're counting the seats, how you're using it, and how you're able to ticket it. So what it does change is all of those seats now have a view, whereas it is now, there's a large portion of those in the front.
I
that
understand
don't
all
have a
that
view.
part.
Yeah. So it does increase seating, it's just a matter of how much does it increase the seating.
Yeah. It
But it
was-
doesn't increase it enough to give it to that threshold that they had discussed before.
And
of-
that's where the curveball came.
Yeah.
Was the whole point, yeah, initially, at least in my mind, was increase seating to increase revenue to bring better talent.
Yes.
And I would come back to, that was not the whole point.
I didn't say the whole point. I
But
said
that
a
was-
major portion of the point was
When
that,
Wyrick and Haney stood up there,
and that's what they said.
that was what they said and sold too.
Right, and I'll go back and look at the tape, but I will guarantee you that was a large part of the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was.
And to now.
We'll put a hyperlink to it.
So I have a hard time wrapping my head around the cost of the project, and I understand improving the thing for the public. Whether that's reason enough to come up with X amount of dollars to not increase the seating or avail ourselves of better possibilities for talent.
I also think part of it is the public outreach to the public. How important is this to you? Was this a loss? Is this something that's
No.
important to you? How do you use the lawn? Will this improve your experience? Are you happy with what it is? You know, all that needs to be fleshed out with a lot more public involvement. And I think that's the hope of forming that committee, is to get that started so we can set up asking the right questions and getting out to people and getting people here to talk about it and figure out where we are.
I'm just not a fan of curveballs. That's all. And
It has a longer history than that meeting, too, in all honesty. This goes back to the very, once that happened and the plan changed and the design changed, there were a lot of people who were very frustrated because all of a sudden the lawn that they'd loved, they couldn't see from. So I totally hear what you are both saying, but I think the history was, before that wasn't about the additional seating. It really didn't start there. It started a long time ago, back when this happened, about, losing the ability to see the way that they had historically.
Okay.
Okay, so it definitely sounds like a committee would be helpful here.
Yeah.
All right, great. I'm wondering if we want to get volunteers for the committees before we formally establish them, just because we're talking about it.
I would go one by one and get yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
think that seems smart. I'd like to be on that committee.
Okay, anyone else?
Adam,
They're conferring.
they're conferring? Okay.
Any
Are
other
you
volunteers?
interested in
I'm
that
sorry.
committee? Adam?
Sorry.
You don't have to say yes, we're just going through who's interested, so.
No, I'm not actually, because I'm not 100% behind it to begin with.
I can do it. I feel like I'm pretty good at public outreach. I know how to weave my way through
Great.
social media.
Okay.
Good, okay. Okay, so then the next one we have is, maybe before.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you
We're not
have a
taking
second
motion,
person?
We're not doing anything.
Okay, but you're not-
because
Put it all together.
We're just
yeah.
brainstorming.
But right now it's just Maya on it.
No.
Oh, sorry, I missed, that's the part I missed.
That's
Sorry
'cause you
about
were
that.
conferring.
I know, that's because I was not focused.
We were actually discussing, and I'll ask all of you guys, do you remember how much the proposed cost was?
I don't think we've gotten firm costs from my
Right,
perspective.
but they still proposed a
That
cost. I
would-
mean,
yeah,
what
I
was it?
thought it
What
was
was
like
Randy's number?
500 grand?
Oh, was it that high?
That was a couple.
It hasn't been clear, because the other thing
Maybe
is they're
not,
looking
right.
at using a lot of in-kind
Right, I
labor,
know, but-
materials and services, so I don't really know.
All right, I was just curious if we remember. I didn't have
It
it
was,
anywhere.
we did get a worksheet on
Oh, that's
on
what it
that.
is, so. Anyways, just,
Okay, so while we're on the levy seating plans, how much time do you think it would take to kind of come back to the commission with maybe a game plan and some discussions?
I think it would be probably good for that committee, if possible, to meet with the Libby Bowl, the Standing Libby Bowl Committee.
And when do they meet?
It won't be easy for, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So it might
Actually,
not.
well,
Which
do we
committee
meet
are
on
we talking
Fridays?
about? The seating?
No, well, for the Libby Bowl, for the seating committee that's gonna form, it might be good to meet with the Libby Bowl Committee that's been meeting.
Do they happen to meet on Fridays?
It is on Fridays. But we can work on
One day I
this.
don't have.
Yeah, I can't
figure
make
it out.
any, I can't make any morning meetings.
Okay.
Maybe
figure it out.
there's, yeah.
I'm sorry, once again, I was a bit distracted there. Are we on, what committee are we on? The Valley-wide?
Okay, we're still on the
No,
levy
we're on
seating.
Libby.
Oh, you're
plan.
still on the Libby? Oh, you're just
Uh,
trying to establish your meeting time, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean,
So
That
both,
was my fault.
you guys both need afternoons
Yes.
or evening?
I work full-time, so I
Yeah,
can't be
I don't
anywhere
get
till
off
after
work.
7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I don't get off work until 6, so.
Okay.
it does seem like there's enough interest on the commission on this topic to maybe discuss in a month or two at least kind of what you all are going to cover.
Right. Like those could be the first meetings. And this one might be nice to invite Randy to,
Yeah,
or Bill Wyrick, Councilman Wyrick. And I actually think it might be good to have staff.
Sure, I especially, I mean, if there were any of the committees that I'd want to be a
Yeah, no,
liaison
I
to, I
think
think
this needs a staff member.
I personally would want to be on this one.
okay.
So did you, I'm sorry, so a place, the
Evening
place,
meetings, so 7 o'clock or later.
at,
We haven't.
you don't
gone
have
that
a
far,
place
so.
yet, okay.
It could be the rec center, though.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're, sure. We
If
can
you're gonna be
always,
there
we can
anyway.
always, yeah, that's right. We can,
If you're gonna be there, it's all good.
yeah, we can always find a place for
Okay.
us, even in my office is.
Is
was
there a
gonna
day of
suggest
the
that.
week that's better for you guys? You, Maya,
Pardon
is
me?
there one?
Tuesdays or Thursdays works best for me,
Okay.
if that works for you.
Well, if we want to get other people involved, maybe it'd be better to,
Set the
Figure
time when
that out.
everybody else
Yeah,
is involved.
that's fine.
Okay.
We could take down the notes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 o'clock or later as just a guideline.
Thursdays at 7 would be perfect for me. 'Cause that's actually a day off.
Okay,
And Thursday's better than Tuesday for me.
okay. Well, so that's a starting point. It may not work, but it's at least you have a kind of,
As long as it's not on the first Thursday of the month.
fair enough.
okay. So let's go on the Parks District. So here, I think, so this is again a valley, I think probably we should call this Valley-wide
Yeah.
Parks District.
Yeah.
And here it seems like there's just some research to do to understand what it is, what the process would be, any history in the area.
And if I could piggyback on what Sage said a minute ago,
Mhm.
if we could call that Valley-wide Parks District to include Soul Park, that might cover both of those.
It really depends on, I can see it two ways. That could be part of the early work, but it's not the same work. It's really pretty different work. Because one is just looking at Sewell right now, I think, as what partnerships are available to us and what would we like to develop there. And then the other is looking at really a whole nother, it's a whole new structure of government that you would add on that would have, bring in money and
Right.
support itself.
Yeah, I think the intent with the Valley-wide Parks District is that we are effectively running a Valley-wide Parks and Rec program, but it's just the city that's running it and not the valley. And
Yeah.
so there are, it's a special districts.
It
and
depends on how
can be
many
created.
committees people are wanting to serve on. I mean, I think if people are willing to serve on more, we should have them separate. But if we're running short on,
Yeah, I think these are pretty separate topics.
I'm good with that.
Because I think the Valley-wide Parks District, I think there's a lot of just basic questions that as a
Yes.
commission we need,
There's a lot of research
To
to be done and a
understand,
lot of numbers to collect.
which
and-
aren't
yeah.
about, how to use specific things. It's just more like
Right.
from a government perspective, how that would happen. And
Mhm.
yeah, to find the money part of it. So I would like to keep those separate.
Okay.
And if we don't have bandwidth, maybe we don't do both of them.
At the
But,
same time, okay.
um,
We're also missing one commissioner, so,
mhm.
and I'm not sure what his interests are.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, and we can, depending on Commissioner Jacobson's interest, we can always switch out.
Yeah, we can move it
people
around.
later on. Okay, so kind of initial things would be just kind of doing some basic research on what a special district is, how they're formed, what the,
I think some early meetings,
Implications.
like with, talking to, like Steve Bennett's office, there's different points of places we might want to
uh-huh.
talk to them about the possibilities. I would love to see, though, this one start with a city council member on it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need staff immediately.
Right.
Yeah. So we've done a little research on this already. Reaching out to Severo, and I reached out to some friends who are part of the League of Southern California Governments or
Mhm.
whatever that is. That a friend of ours works there, Joey Brigley, actually. And so we reached out to Joey and got that, and then Sophocles reached out to the Conejo,
Yeah,
Conejo,
Pleasant Valley.
yeah, which kind of encompasses, and they did the same thing. They did like a district-wide.
Mhm.
So we've done a little bit of that. So staff might not be needed, but some of those contacts will be needed,
Yeah.
maybe not for the meetings, but as going forward, some of those contacts will be critical.
Well, and I mean, there are decisions to be made. There are different types of special districts. There's different management models. There's a lot to really
Yeah.
flesh out what the options
And
are.
Conejo did theirs in like the mid-60s, so
Most, yeah,
things have changed a bit.
Mm.
But it's, it's worth talking to them about.
well, yeah, and just doing the research. It's all out there. I mean, you can look this stuff up. The code is,
Right.
read about it, and we can,
Right. So, yeah, I think, like I said, we need a couple people to do the homework and report back initially, and then as a commission, we can decide where we want to go with it. Any volunteers for this one?
I'm interested
I'll
in
help
this
on that
one.
one too. I've got Joey and Severo we've already talked about it even, so.
Great. Okay.
And the swim coach at Nordhoff wants to do it so he can get a pool.
Because that'll happen overnight.
So we can, we can ask some people though.
Okay.
No.
And could I suggest December for a time to come back to the
That'd be fine.
commission?
Mhm.
Okay.
And how many people do we have on that?
So we've got Adam and Sage.
So you had two, okay, I didn't hear Sage, so, perfect.
Okay.
But I am hoping though that we can ask for a city council member at our joint meeting to sit on that.
Yeah.
From the start.
Especially, right away it might not be needed, but as we get down there, we're definitely gonna need some of that support too.
I just
Some
think
of
it's a
that
good
backing.
starting point.
Plant
that-
seed.
Yeah,
Well, Randy Haney used to be on the Parks and Rec Commission, so maybe he'll jump on there.
we'll see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But you got them on
Yeah,
two,
we're
you
good.
got them on two
Two already.
committees already.
Well,
Well, he's gonna want to be on the Soul Park one since he brought
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
up.
Well, there you go,
will.
there's
So
three.
just-
Speaking of Soul Park, so this would be looking at opportunities for city use of.
Start coming back to these meetings.
so-
Have a good night.
Thanks.
You too.
Thanks,
It's
Steve.
uh,
Thanks for your service, Adam.
Thank you.
Okay, Soul Park. So this would be looking at opportunities for use of the
Programming,
park,
yeah.
programming.
I think internally, I would see it as we create our list and think about what we could do there,
Yeah,
and then meet with county staff
County.
and present
That'll
what
be
we're
us.
interested in,
Mhm.
and then work from there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like in between those two steps would be kind of a coming back to the commission and going over
Vetting
that
that, yeah,
list. and
exactly.
maybe
Whoever's on
refining
that, should that's definitely gonna need staff input though, in terms of programming and everything.
Yes,
These
meeting
would
with
be
staff.
Ideas.
Mhm.
Sure, and that, if you're talking about, myself or potentially Allison.
Yeah.
um,
Whatever makes sense.
Yeah, it'll be one of us
Great.
two.
it. Okay. Any volunteers?
You can put me on that one.
I think we
Okay.
should volunteer Commissioner Jacobson for that one too.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Since he's not here.
And to be honest, he might wanna jump on the Libby Bowl seating.
I
or we
thought he
can-
mentioned that he
but-
was interested in
We can
that.
ask him.
Well, we can always add a
If you
Yeah,
want to
third.
do that, then I can do Soul Park, because,
You want to do that?
yeah,
Okay.
that works for me.
We'll switch you then, we'll switch.
Which,
He's
those.
we've not voted on anything yet.
He's got a little,
so-
Okay.
a little
Brainstorming.
construction.
Yeah, just brain-
Just in
background,
case.
Yeah,
Just in
Yes,
case.
you're flexible.
Okay.
I like that.
agree with you.
Okay.
Okay, great. So tentatively, that coming back to the commission could probably happen, I'd say by December. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think with the list of ideas, because that should be what, a meeting at the most two?
Yeah.
I think you can get it done in one,
And
probably.
it gets tricky to meet in December just because of the holidays and getting people
It does.
available, but
So it would mostly be, your work would be done in November?
Right.
And then
I
you'd be
would-
there at the beginning
yeah,
of
that's the
December?
hope.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
Sorry, who was on the Soul Park? You?
yeah,
Yes.
Maya? You
Murphy
and Maya?
and Gilbert
And
or
Maya.
Jacobson.
Yeah,
Okay.
depends.
And do
I
you,
have some emails from the county from like 2 years ago that I'll forward to you guys as well.
Okay.
do you have a
We
date?
started the discussion with Mr. McCleary and
Mhm.
everybody, so,
Thank you.
yeah.
You said November, do you have any, well, I guess we can.
December. So our commission meeting is the first week of December, so any work that was done to bring back to the commission would be done in October,
In
November.
Right, so, but I
We
think
don't
there
have
were.
a date.
We don't have
yet.
it, we don't, okay. We're gonna email that out, like, hash that out by email, what date we wanna meet,
And
or
see what Jacobson.
slash Jacobson,
Well, I know, 'cause
Gilbert,
these guys are
Slash.
Thursdays, 7 o'clock,
on the first, on the
depending on what you got.
Libby seating plan, I got that, but back to the Soul Park programming, we'll hash that date out, depending on,
Who ends up where.
again, whether it's you or Jacobson on that.
Well, and so if I could actually come down to meet with you at the Boyd Center at some point and just kind of brainstorm
Sure.
what might work out there and what might not,
Yeah,
that kind of a thing.
and I
and-
can
and-
stop by after I meet with Allison about the youth committee, so.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, that might be
Yeah,
the easiest way. 'Cause
sure,
your input there,
okay.
I agree, is gonna be invaluable as to what the usage is.
Well, yeah,
gonna be.
there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, oh, there's a ton,
Yeah.
a ton, yep.
First step is to get parking fees waived. That's step one. See if we can manage that.
It'd be easy to pay for parking.
Yeah, somehow, have
Yeah.
a swipe pad.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in our meeting, but.
Okay. So then the OUSD partnerships, the last one. So this would be, as we've discussed, identifying how we could use OUSD facilities and staff perhaps, and likewise how they could use.
So we can
our
support them and they
facilities.
can support us in
Right.
various different endeavors.
Yep. Sharing information, advertising. So I will volunteer for that.
I'd be happy to be on that one.
Okay. Anyone else feeling hurt that they're not? And I think with that, that's probably around the same timeline, in December. Maybe some of these would get pushed to January.
And that will need some staff time,
Yeah,
that one.
For sure.
Need staff participation.
yeah. Okay. Anything else on that one? So I think, if not, I think someone can make a motion to form these committees. Let's make sure to get the wording right on them.
I have one question.
Uh-huh.
Do we want to appoint people to all of them now, or do we want to wait on those that we're not sure of the membership until we're sure of the membership?
I think we should appoint people now.
Okay.
So we can get moving on them, and if we need
Okay,
to
what did we
change-
decide for Libby and Sewell?
So it sounds like for Libby, Commissioner Jacobson,
Okay,
and for Sewell, Commissioner Gilbert.
okay.
Okay, so,
What are we calling the Parks District?
The Valley-wide Park.
Valley-wide
Valley-wide,
Parks
okay.
District, yeah.
So I make a motion that we activate the ad hoc committees for the Libby Bowl seating plan, the Valley-wide Parks District, co-oping with Soul Park, and partnering with the Ojai School District.
And I'm just gonna I'd like to make one tiny, well, go ahead. Should I, if I want a little amendment, you want me to wait and do it formally, or do you want me to just tell you now?
That was good.
Okay. How about Libby Bowl lawn seating?
Yeah.
Just so that we're really clear that we're not talking about anything beyond the lawn.
Is that a friendly amendment?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And, can we add the names of the commissioners?
I think we should.
Okay.
Do we need to do that within the motion?
Do we appoint and form all at the same time is the question? I think we're doing it that way.
If we're all on board, we may as well. do it.
yeah.
Okay.
Do it all
So
at once.
if I can just add that as an amendment. So for the Libby Lawn seating plan, that'd be Commissioners Murphy and Jacobson. For the Valley-wide Parks District, that'd be Commissioners Dutter and Intner. For the Soul Park, that would be Commissioners Murphy and Gilbert. And for the OUSD partnerships, that would be Commissioners Firestone and Intner.
I move that we accept that motion and amendments.
Okay. Do we have a
Second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well done.
Oh, the motion passes. Right, good job.
So, next agenda item, the joint meeting between City Council and Recreation Commission. Allison's not here, but we have a presentation that she's refined since we met last time, and I helped out a little bit. I would like to thank Allison. She put a lot of work into this, and it looks
Good job, Allison.
really
Yes, you
good.
did.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to thank you, Allison. I'm sure she's out there watching. Right
Yeah.
now. I have no doubts about it, Ojai. I can either manage the remote, or you can. It's your option, Commissioner.
Yeah, why don't you
Commissioner
manage it? and
Firestone?
I'll take some
Okay,
notes
all
if-
right,
if
you just
needed.
tell me
Okay.
when to go, and I'll go.
So, yeah, we can just go slide
Okay.
by slide, and if anyone has any comments. I think some of this hasn't changed so much.
And I don't know if you established this at the last meeting, because I didn't watch it full through, but are you going to run through all the slides, and then each person is going to take a discussion topic? Once you get to the discussion topics, each commissioner will take? Is that?
The rough plan was that I would go through everything except the youth commission
Okay,
committee slide.
okay.
But I'll go through the slides, but then the discussion will be the whole commission. So I'm kind of running the show, but then everyone is.
Well,
Should be.
then all the more reason you should
Yeah,
probably
practice
take
that.
this
Okay,
clicker.
I'll run the show.
Okay, so this is the little orange button will take you forward, and then the button on top, it'll be maybe obvious. But then there's a pointer, which side is that? If you want to use the, if you want to use the
Pointer doesn't
pointer.
work on the screen.
Hopefully, we don't ever have that much text on
Oh,
it.
whoa. What did I just do there? Where is the
Oh.
pointer?
All right.
Maybe
Yeah.
you should run the clicker.
So, yeah, maybe, let me, I don't know how I
Better
got
get back
off.
into the
Let me
slideshow.
see if I can get it back off of this.
Ooh.
Oh, crud. Hold on. That's why you need to have your glasses on too when you're messing with this.
I'll just hold this.
Yeah.
Go old
Oh, well,
school.
there's
Yeah.
that's the
Paper.
clicker.
We need Van.
You see the the pointer.
Oh,
You
no.
could see the
Oh, I see the
pointer.
green pointer.
Oh, yeah.
But now how to get
You're
it
actually
back
you're
to-
editing at this point.
I am.
Don't edit.
But I'm trying, no, I'm trying to get back.
So you want to go
back.
to
Go
the
to-
slideshow?
Yeah.
Oh,
There
here,
you
I'm
go.
gonna give this back to you.
Hand it over. Maybe he'll
Yeah, I'm gonna
figure
hand it
out
over. Maybe you can figure it out. Oh, I've messed it up now. Look I've got it on some.
Nothing. You haven't done anything yet.
No. It's how to get it back to
Oh,
main
items
screen.
B.
Oh, good job.
You go have to.
Dang it.
Gotta go back.
That was it, right?
Now it's
No.
items B.
Where's the computer?
It's over there. I'll see if I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Back there.
Control Z and then.
Because you're on the right, see where it's outlined in orange, that's where you want to click on for sure.
Yeah, but we want to just
I
not,
don't
we don't want to
really
leave
know how to move
the
the pointer.
spellings.
do you think it is?
Oh, just start the slideshow. We're not saving
But
this.
first delete the B.
Well, this isn't the live version.
wait, okay.
This
All right.
is just we're reviewing it.
Yeah, she wouldn't give us that. Not after all that work.
I actually got it the other day.
You just,
Yeah, I don't know how to get.
Up on the top.
Yeah, where
Go
it
to
says slideshow. Top.
The tab.
See how home is highlighted? Move to the right.
I got you.
There we go. From beginning, the first option on the left.
Oh, yeah. Where's Allison?
Ta-da! Well done.
And then,
So we got that out of the way this time.
whatever you do, don't hit the red button.
But there is a pointer on there, but I
do you know how to go?
That's forward
Right.
and that's back. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good.
You got it.
We got it. All right.
You're in business
Moving
now.
forward.
Okay. so we
never
got
mind the pointer.
I'd like to make a motion that we don't let Sophocles.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we've got our, we're going to do a quick parks update, programs update, and then our discussion items. So on the parks updates, we've got these two
The
slides.
adopted Sarzodi master plan.
That's right.
With contingency, small contingency.
The adopted Sarzodi master plan.
Thank you.
Plan adopted, yeah.
Okay, we'll
Moving
leave it
Coming
there.
up, yeah.
Fine, I'll go with that.
So two slides on this. The first one is just kind of showing the layout. The second one, we did add in kind of our
Nice.
priority elements and
I like
the
that.
timeline.
Nice, yeah.
Picnic area remodel.
Nice
change the-
shot.
Start with the finished product and then some of the
The
details of how we
process,
got there.
nice.
The parking lots,
Yep,
Lower Libby
good.
restrooms, skate park. Part of this too was just kind of like tightening up the wording. so
Yeah.
that this
Get it,
Yeah.
yeah,
flows
which is
faster.
good.
Yeah. But if you see something missing, let me know. Okay. So that was it on parks, and then the programs update, open house, aquatics.
That was a good slide. I like how that looked. That was good.
Yeah.
That helps.
That's really good. Okay, summer camps. So here, that the recommendation to put the revenue in terms of just a percentage to keep
Okay.
things simple is the last bullet there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
It is good.
Mhm. Parent night out, movie nights.
Yeah, we actually had 70 kids at the last.
What movie was that?
Big.
It wasn't the
Big
environmental one.
Boss, boss baby,
Boss
Boss Baby,
Baby,
there
the
you
baby,
go.
the baby boss.
boss.
Yeah.
What happened with
It's a
that
great
one?
movie.
What's that?
What I missed the first part
It's
of that.
70 people.
70.
It's just a great
70
turnout.
That is an awesome
Yeah,
turnout.
70 kids. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a great movie.
Okay, reorganize this slide. I think it looks a lot
Like
cleaner
it.
now.
Yep.
So thanks for the suggestions.
Yeah, that does look good.
Clarified what the pictures are of.
Mhm.
What are you, that's great.
He's an adult too.
Good. After school program. Again, just kind of tighten the
Mhm.
wording. a
Mhm.
bit.
Bullet points.
Yeah. So then Commissioner Gilbert, this is your slide. So if you want to change anything.
No,
about-
I looked over it.
And
Okay.
did you,
I,
go ahead.
go ahead. No.
Oh, did you and Allison establish dates for some of those upcoming hashtag adulting?
We have one date definitely set for October 14th, which is our college and scholarships workshop, but we're still tentative on a few of the other dates due to scheduling conflicts because the SAT happened to be on one of
Yeah,
the dates,
oh.
so we're still working.
Can
on
we
it.
add that in?
What's
Is that what you're
uh,
thinking?
well,
To add the
well-
date for the college and scholarship applications?
Maybe
Put a date
so,
on
if
it?
you think that, I mean, it might be helpful just because, once again, there's a lot more people viewing the council meetings, and they'll see that.
Might be worth putting on there.
Yeah, I
That
think
would be
so.
nice.
It also kind of signals like, no, this
You-
is
and
for
you
real.
can- Yeah, and, exactly, and you can, yeah, you can talk about it too, so that they.
Do we have any idea how many people watch those,
I-
or this? Is there a way to know?
More than I
Uh,
ever thought.
Yeah,
Because people will say things, even about our meetings, I go, you really watch? And they go,
Yeah.
yeah. I go,
yeah, I
I saw it on
don't,
TV the other night.
yeah.
Really?
If you're watching, send Sophocles an email.
yeah, please.
He wants to know.
Yeah, I want to know, yeah. It is interesting. I think quite a few, I don't know what quite a few is. So, but I don't know that there's a way of
Quantify.
establishing that,
I would
quantifying
imagine
it.
you
You
could-
can on a YouTube, you can
That's a
see
good
how
point.
many,
Yeah.
obviously,
Right.
clearly views.
Or if they go
People
onto the
went back.
website and click on to the video of it.
That's
But
Right,
watching
that's
it
right.
live, is it? It's not on live, is it?
Yeah,
Uh,
Channel 10.
TV.
It is.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right now,
Start doing
it
makeup.
is.
Okay.
It is.
Moving on.
There's no delay either, so.
Okay, so we're going to add in a date for what has been scheduled.
And that'll
already.
be college and scholarships together, right? Because it's one class?
It's one class.
Okay.
Okay, would you
But
like?
Ellison will know that.
We'll make, so put those as the same bullet, those first
Yes.
two. Okay. Cool. And when did you say that was?
October 14th
And where is it?
at,
Since we're plugging it right now.
I was just going to talk to Allison about that.
That's okay, that's not,
Aren't they?
to be determined.
Oh, the location, aren't they all at the rec?
Well, one of them's
Or
at
no?
the library, and
Oh.
I was thinking we could move this one to the library because for the Chromebooks that'd be
Nice.
better. But I haven't talked to Allison about it yet because I just
Okay,
found out.
All
so
right.
to be announced.
Okay.
Okay, and everything else looks good on here?
Yes.
Commissioner Gilbert?
Yeah, and
Great.
unfortunately, Allison won't be at the joint, the joint meeting either on Tuesday,
Okay.
just
That's
FYI.
at 6, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I gotta try to get off
6
work
o'clock.
Okay, so then participation in this slide, cleaned up a little bit to clarify that bump, which is the after school, which is kind of counted differently, you know, kind of graded out. So it's there. You can see that's a big number, but it's meant to be something else.
That's, you guys did a really good job on that.
Thanks.
That's very helpful.
Um, Okay, so, this way you can see the trend in the blue.
It wasn't just like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, a good-looking trend.
Yeah. And a great new program.
Yeah. Then on the revenue update, just added indicating where the valley-wide mailing of the activity guide started. And then we just have a list of topics that are ongoing within the commission.
So
Just
I have an ad.
to give the council.
Sarzodi multi-sport courts. Because we know exactly where we're thinking about when that comes
Uh-huh.
up, but I just think as far as for reference of those,
Thank you.
And should we add Libby Bowl lawn seating or just Libby Bowl lawn?
Shouldn't that be the same
Yes,
title as
Libby
the
Bowl
ad
lawn
hoc committee?
seating.
I would think.
Yeah.
Do we want to add the Ojai Unified School District since
I
talking about
think
that,
we took
or-
that off.
We prioritized a
We-
little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think that's more internal, the work we're gonna do right now.
Okay.
I think we figured these were in order of,
So these are not discussion items. This is just a list of
Right.
stuff that's
Yeah.
ongoing. So I think if we have a
We could add it on
committee,
there.
we may as well just.
Yeah,
add
you're
to
right,
the
put it on there.
list.
It doesn't hurt to put it on there.
Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat that back again?
We're going to add a bullet at the bottom for
Oh,
the
and for
school
consistency,
partnerships.
Valley-wide Parks District,
Right.
just so we keep our,
Oh, that's,
what are we adding?
That's-
We're just adding, we're not adding a bullet, we're just
No.
rewording it,
We're
right?
rewording.
Okay.
this
that one we're just rewording.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Just to
Yep.
be consistent with our committee
Right, okay.
names.
I think that's perfect.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. And then our discussion items. And again, we don't plan to go through all of these, so we've ordered them in the order we'd like to go in.
I think really we're hoping to hit the first one and the second one,
Yeah.
most likely, right?
So why is, some of these are on both slides?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is just, so up until this ongoing topic slide, everything before this is just kind of a review of
Right.
what's going on in the parks, what's going on in the programs, and what's the commission up to. And then,
Maybe that should be ongoing Recreation Commission topics.
yeah,
So
just
that
to be
it has,
clear.
it's, does that make,
Yeah.
I think it,
Yes, that's more clear.
so they're not questioning what,
Right.
ongoing how and what, and,
Yeah. Stuff we're kicking around.
Okay.
Yeah, so then we move on to the
Okay.
part where it's like, okay, now we want to
Right.
engage and have discussion. And the CIP is
Well,
first.
can we
Yeah,
take off the last one?
yes, I think so at this point.
I think we should too.
Yeah.
well, can we just leave it in the packet?
Why?
Because what's done there is still, I just think that our participation of just saying what recreationally would be valuable there on record somewhere is not a bad thing. Who knows where this thing's gonna go or what's gonna happen?
Pretty
Well-
clear it's not coming this way, I think.
will we potentially have those uses, or that's not even the point? You know what I mean, like how we want to use it?
What if we just lumped it in with the partnership of OUSD?
Not the-
And Ryan touched on it though while we were in there. This includes potentially the chaparral site. I don't think it should be a discussion item,
Agreed.
because it's not gonna be a discussion item. Even if we wanna touch
Okay.
on it, if we wanna put it in the topics maybe,
Yeah.
but it's not a discussion item, because it shouldn't be discussed yet.
I
like the
agree.
idea
I agree, it's
Brian
not a
just
discussion
mentioned
item.
it in there that it's.
But maybe we mentioned
Can
it
we
in
just
the
have an
partnership.
addendum with the
like, hey,
information we came up with for the council that we don't even talk about, but
I would
it's just in the
definitely mention
packet?
it though, Ryan, while
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah, so, okay, so we definitely want to,
and to Sage's point, because at least we have it on record then if we said, hey,
I would just be happy to include
We have
that in
plans
their
there, too.
packet, because we have a slide that says potential uses of chaparral site. It's just a slide. I don't care if we discuss it at all, I just want to show it.
okay, so we're going to keep this slide in.
Okay,
Maybe we'll add the word addendum, maybe not, but.
whatever you want to do with it, yeah.
It's in there. And so that's, yeah, okay. All right. So then CIP, so this was the slide we looked at before, which is, the city's CIP. I did look at our
Oh, good, you,
plan, And the city CIP roughly identifies almost everything on our list, I think, except the community pool. And what I did was I took the city CIP and I scrubbed out the stuff that's happened because we want to kind of look forward. And I tried to organize it by kind of when stuff is planned in the budget, but also kind of keeping it organized by, what is Libby Park, what's Libby
Right.
Bowl. So it's a little hard to read, but maybe it's easier to read too.
I think you did an excellent job considering what we were trying, you smashed a lot together.
Yeah, thank you.
And I get it.
So then the other layer on this is the stuff in bold, which is also the stuff that has that, the priority, sorry, I can't read that far away, the Parks and Recreation priority. With the X's, those were kind of our highest priority items. And it roughly sorts out to, some of these things are more kind of maintenance items, and those aren't really priorities. Like, they're in the CIP, and we think they should happen. But the stuff that we're kind of nudging for, more kind of adding things for the most part. Anyway, I thought this was a good way to communicate.
Yeah, you did a good, because the colors help a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
And just to let you know, we just had conversation this afternoon about the gymnastics equipment, so that's definitely moving forward.
Okay.
Should happen in this fiscal
Good.
year.
Right.
Vicky has either replacing all the floor mats, the main floor, or the, I don't know what the term is. Oh gosh, it's a.
The bouncing part?
Yeah, the real bouncy
Bouncy
one.
part of the floor,
really
yes.
bouncy part of the floor, the tumbling strip or something. The tumbling strip, it's
Yeah, that
just
narrow
that
one down
one
the-
long white strip that, so because she said that replacing the entire floor, because I think we have, 10,000 budgeted?
Yeah.
She said it'll probably be closer to 12,000, and that the parents group might pick up she has to ask them first, but
Yeah.
the parent group might pick up the other 2,000 to cover the
That's
the
great.
mat. And we'll try to surplus the old floor, potentially.
Sounds good.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So just on this slide, just kind of what we'll be pointing out. So our priority items are the field light poles at Sarzati Park, the bike park, kind of ready when that's ready. Outdoor basketball court, this is in our plan, that's the multi-sport court, but
Yeah.
it stuck with the CIP wording.
Yeah.
The new playground at Sarzati Park, gymnastics equipment, which we just talked about, and then interest in the community pool.
Ongoing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that looks good, because the other is too hard.
Okay. So we can get rid of this first one. Do you want to keep this in?
I would say leave it in the packet,
Okay.
but don't leave the slide in, because I can't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit blurry. The other one.
But I think it's good to have in there as reference, so
Yeah.
that if we're discussing it, we can,
Okay.
if there are questions.
Yeah.
Because we're given this as a packet too, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I'll have kind of an additional slides section at the end, and I'll have the Chaparral site slide and this.
CIP, and then we can refer to it
Yeah.
if we want to.
Yeah.
You want them to all have a hard copy, is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Yeah.
Okay. Here we got the wording right. Valleywide Parks District. So hey, look at this. We formed a committee.
Boy, you knew we were going to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that planning ahead.
Okay. I guess I should, because these are the discussion items, if we want to talk about anything now that we want to go over with the council, it's a good time for each of these.
I think the discussion items will generate enough.
I was just gonna
Agreed.
say,
Like
this,
natural
this will get,
discussion,
that will get
organic
started, no
discussion,
problem.
yeah.
Okay. Partnership. Guess we can add here that we have a committee.
Yes, that's true. Put that on there too.
Do we include somewhere here the partnerships that we already have, or do you not want to necessarily
The
include that?
committees.
Because we also.
Oh, you actually have that there, sorry. Adult ed
we could have a
class. No,
slide.
you have it there, adult ed classes, Nordoff pool use.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about the after-school program, so I guess it's already there
Now-
in a sense.
The fact that we also partner in effect with Villanova is part of that. Should we keep that as a completely separate item, or?
We could,
Okay,
I mean,
just
it's on
let's
that
go
pool
over.
slide.
I mean,
Okay,
if
good enough.
anyone has questions at any point, we can answer them, but as far as
That's great.
moving forward, I don't see it.
Okay.
Okay, Soul Park, look at this.
It's City Council Woman, there we go.
And then, again, this is kind of information, I don't know how much we're gonna talk about this, if we'll even get to the slide, but just to put it out there that we made this recommendation.
Yeah, I'm just as happy to have that in the addendum as well. But
Yeah. It does seem like, I mean, there hasn't been any kind of communication between the commission and the council on this. We just kind of threw it.
No, it hasn't. Well, it has to come from, for me to say, okay, we need to put this on a council agenda.
Right.
and
Agendize
lately,
it.
it's been a little hard to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
So it's
has.
kind of a heads up that.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but it
happening.
it's still it's kind of off in the radar, but
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
is. At some point, should be brought to them.
At least
Brought
they know
forward to
there's
them.
been a recommendation and that it'll be coming down the pike at some point.
Right.
Good, okay.
Not on the slide, but in the,
It'll be in additional slides. I'll keep it in the presentation just so it's kind of easy to manage, but
Okay.
I'll just have an additional slide
Wait,
section.
hang on, wait, we're gonna keep this in the.
It literally in the file.
in the
but not-
printout.
But not in the,
Yeah, I'll have a section at the end called additional slides. So it won't be
Okay.
a discussion
'cause
item.
it just seems to me that this gives this the same weight as it's giving the other things, and this, to me, is a complete non-issue at this point.
Right, so we'll take it off the discussion items list. It'll just be,
Okay.
and if that's what the commission wants, we can also do the same with the first aid CPR. If it's just information, we don't have to include it on the discussion items list. It'll just
I
be
think so.
additional. Okay.
Well, a couple things. The potential use of the Chaparral site, do you want to put it on the partnerships with OUSD discussion item slide?
No,
And just as like a bullet point, so you talk
No.
about it?
for me, it's very different. For
How-
me, one
how's
is
it- how's it
programming and
different?
addressing how to do programming with them that where we're supporting each other. And this is a discussion of facilities. And I would really like to keep the facilities and the programming discussions very separate because I don't think they help each other.
Well, and
Yeah, but
again,
if you're not going to discuss this at all, why not throw at least the title on the OUSD partnership so you can at least touch on it?
So how
If you're not
about,
going to discuss it at all and just throw it in the packet, why is it even in the packet? That's my feeling about CPR too. It should be a discussion item. It could be a 2-minute discussion item and be done with it. But especially if it's going to come down at the pike to city council especially, you're going to want to, you just want to let them know that it's coming down the pike, but just throw it in as an addendum, like, that's like, oh, by the way, we have some other junk for you to
Well, it's
look at
additional,
at-
it's
at your own
additional
leisure.
information that we didn't feel it was necessary to discuss here.
Okay.
I mean, there's two ways to go, and I hear what you're saying. If we're going that other way, I think that the potential use has to stay separate. I don't think it's the same thing as our partnership. I do not want to imply in any way that our desire to form a partnership and work on programming has anything to do with letting them know what we want to do with their facilities. I find that they're very separate issues, and I don't think they would help each other. But that's how I see it. So if we're going the way of keeping it on there, we just keep it on there, way down at the bottom, like the CPR.
I think there's two issues here. One is on the partnership with OUSD side, what's on there. The other is for these things that are just like the list of chaparral things in the CPR.
It's just information.
If we're discussing them or not.
But those aren't, I don't think you can lump those together. The Chaparral site is information. CPR is something that's coming to council eventually.
It's information on what's coming to council.
Yeah, Chaparral's not coming to council, not from us at least,
nope,
or anytime soon.
nope.
Those are two very different issues.
Well, you wouldn't have them on the same
Okay,
slide.
okay.
But they're two very
All right.
different
Yeah.
So I think what I'm hearing
functional
is
pieces.
on the partnerships with OUSD, discussion item, we'll mention that we have a separate slide with a list of possible use of chaparral, but that's a separate discussion as far as our discussion item. Is that,
I keep going back to the point, we've never been asked officially to do anything with the chaparral site. I don't know why we even got into this to begin with. There is a 0.1% chance this is ever gonna happen. I don't know why we've wasted all this time with it, to be honest.
Oh, I don't think we wasted a lot of time on it. I feel like we don't always have to be asked to do things at our commission. Many of our ideas have come out of our desire to look beyond and see what we think should happen. And I think that when it comes up that that property may change into something else, I, as a rec commissioner, would like to make clear to council, these are the things that the rec commission could see as potential uses if and when it ever happens. I'm not saying that it will. It's not, it's just putting out there a set of ideas of things that are potentially could be helpful to the recreation department, if that ever is a possibility.
I don't think it can hurt to have the list in here.
No.
I mean, we could spend more time talking about it, which is.
I would prefer not to do that.
Right.
So we can just throw it in there as in the back.
Yeah, I think we're getting down to just the fine points of
Okay.
the information that's going in here.
In the packet.
What are we calling it? Is it a discussion item? Is it additional information? I think the CPR first aid. So it sounds like the chaparral list, we're okay with that being additional
Yes,
information.
additional information.
Okay. Then the question is the CPR first aid. Is that a discussion item or is that additional information?
I don't have a need to discuss it, but if the rest of the commission wants to have it as a discussion item, that's fine.
And maybe the council members will want to. Maybe they'll want to weigh in at the time. Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's
Based
fine.
on what your recommendation was, they may want to weigh in on that recommendation.
And we put
At that
them-
time, I don't know if that's the appropriate time to do it or not, but maybe it is, maybe it is.
Well, it hasn't come before them yet, so.
Right, and,
Yeah. Okay.
so they might have their opinions about how
Yeah,
they
and
think.
we've prioritized the discussion items in the order that we thought we would spend the time on. We're already there.
If you listen to the beginning of that meeting with the Ojai School District, I believe the city attorney told the council they're not supposed to be putting opinions out there
Oh, about
at
it.
this point. I might be wrong on that.
That's about the historic status.
Right.
Okay,
Because-
Specifically.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this probably, better to ask for forgiveness than permission in this case, at least on that one particular side. We're just saying, hey,
It's just a
as
list.
Sage pointed out, hey, if this ever opened up,
Yeah.
here's how the rec department,
I'd love to see.
the rec department could use that space.
That's
Okay.
it.
I mean, it's as innocent as that. Like,
Okay, that's it. Any
Thank you for the hard
comments?
work on that. I think it looks
Yeah,
Good
good.
job.
yeah,
Thank you.
Yes, it
Thanks.
looks very good.
and, well, he'll be running the edits on it as well.
Right.
Just to-
No.
You'll get to keep thanking him.
Only gonna get better.
Okay, so anything else on the presentation
No, I think
or
that's great.
coordinating what anyone wants to say for any of that discussion items? Good. Then we can move on. Same item. Okay, so just a reminder, our joint meeting with the city council is this coming Tuesday, October 10th at 6 PM. And then the final item is the Sarzati Park Master Plan. Thank you, Commissioners Intner and Murphy, for attending that meeting. The city council approved the master plan minus the rec center or doing anything with the Boyd
A
Center.
new community center.
Yeah,
Mhm.
community center.
Either keep it or move it. And that was kind of the gist of it, I think.
No, it was.
It
no.
It was,
Community center.
nothing will happen
Nothing
to
will
it.
happen to the community center. As
At
part
least
of the
under-
Sarzoti master plan, that is not going to be part of the plan.
That's not an option.
Right.
That's fine. We're done. It's approved.
So yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations,
The rest of it is,
everyone.
yeah,
I know we all put a lot of
Put a lot of time and work in that.
which
into
is great.
that, and
'cause
we have a city-approved roadmap now for the park.
we can start working on
Let's
that
start building.
multi-sport court.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Looking forward.
Break ground tomorrow.
So congratulations, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, council.
Yeah, that is great.
Okay, recreation staff report updates.
Okay, on that discussion item, we're not going to touch on any future potential projects, any of that stuff right now. You want to table that for next meeting,
Point.
possibly?
Well, I think we have somewhat done that already, just to reiterate
Like
that
phase one is, what projects do you want
well,
to
we
see?
picked off we've already put in our priorities in our CIP that the sport court is the first.
Okay,
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
It's there, I
One
think.
step at a time.
great. The sports court, yeah, there's phase one.
Baby
Is
steps.
that what it,
Allison took care of this for us.
Because I think that's what
does
we'd
it
always
touch
had.
on that?
It did.
Okay,
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Got it. Picnic area
One down.
remodel is
oh,
done.
I see, okay.
Multi-sport courts,
Then-
ball field renovation, new
New
playground, and water.
Perfect, excellent. There they are.
Good.
Wow,
We
discussion
already did
item
that
over,
work.
excellent. I missed that. I
We
was,
need a new artist rendering of just the Boyd Club, though.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, one of the things that was not discussed at that meeting, and I didn't bring it up, was the money to make the changes. So
yeah.
it will be what it is unless someone
Of course,
chooses to
of
spend
course
money
it
on it.
is.
Yeah.
And we'll use it for as best we can.
Yeah, I do plan on reaching out to Community Works who did this plan and to see what the cost would be. Just
Yeah.
as a,
Hey,
I think it's, go ahead.
yeah.
because
The-
it might take a little bit to rework it. It might just seem, well, just get rid of it. Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be that simple, potentially,
So part of the,
especially in relation to parking, but anyway.
in what was approved by the city, no community center, but didn't strike out the change in parking.
Nope, nothing else was, the only thing that was
Was
struck
the Boyd
was
Center.
was the community center, a new community center.
Right. Got it.
Yes, the parking, could still- all that stuff, everything else is still in the plan.
Mhm. Not on our priority list, but it's part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else on Sarzati? Okay.
Sorry.
Staff report updates?
Teen workshops, we already touched on that. And you gave those dates. Could you throw those dates out for me one more time on the,
We only
Or-
have
or-
one set date, which is October 14th for college and scholarships.
Timely, good. In the zone. But we don't have a location to, it's location
but
to be determined.
location to be determined, okay. Okay, movie nights, and I already mentioned that. We had 70 at the Baby Boss movie. Our next movie night is October 27th, The Smurfs. Yeah, so again, that's a 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. event. 6 p.m. is a free play from 6 to 7, and the movie starts at 7, all for the low price of $10. They get
It's great.
movie, pizza, popcorn, drink. Very popular. We have great staff working those events too. So usually our summer camp staff
Well, that's good.
just are there, and they're familiar with all the kids, half the kids that show up. They know more than half of them because of the after-school program too. I think they know all of them as they get there. Ojai Day, we've already talked about that. October 21st, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Volunteers still needed.
Volunteers needed, yes. Classes and events, so after-school program is going along very well. We are getting volunteers actually from Thatcher School, 4 students from Thatcher School, and then 2 of them will go to the Miners Oak site, 2 of them to the Topa site. So,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
yeah, they actually reached out to us because they need service hours, and are only more than happy to accommodate. So that should happen in the next week or so, that they'll join our team out there. I have already mentioned the CIP gymnastics program, gymnastics, and what they want
They have a
to
plan.
get. They have a plan.
That's great.
They're ready to go and excited about that. I can jump down to, I don't have any other event classes related material, unless you have any questions about any of the ongoing classes that we have. We didn't get any in that first round of Oh Yes theater classes. We didn't get enough enrollment to go ahead and run the classes, but like any new class, it does take some marketing and advertising, and knowing that they've made the transition to partner with us. So I think that's one of the reasons that it didn't happen in this first round of offerings. Jump down to commissioner vacancies. We do have one person interested. It actually is a former commissioner, and he's continued to express interest. As a matter of fact, I think he may have turned in his packet today to try to get back on the commission. So I'm excited and happy about that.
Yeah.
His
Question
return,
on that, I know.
potential return, I should say.
I mean, we haven't advertised a vacancy. I've gotten some messaging that we shouldn't even bother because the council doesn't want to maintain a seven.
No, that, actually, we have been, actually, no, it is just, I know that it was actually on hold for a while, not to advertise, but we have. I don't know how many months, but I know it's been at least 1 month of advertising for the vacancy.
Okay.
So there isn't any direction from council to say, we're not going to stay with a 7-member commission.
Okay.
So anyone else that is out there that is considering getting on the commission, you should apply. Please apply.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
it's
And
in
how
on.
do people apply?
They can go to the city website.
Okay.
There's a tab for commissions, and the application is on that tab, and they can reach out to the city records manager too for that, Gail Davis.
Okay. Thank you.
Davis@ohighcity.org if they want to reach out to her.
How long is that open, or is it open until filled?
I think it's open till filled.
Okay.
I think that there was a deadline, but we were not getting applications, and there might be some
Confusion.
validity to your commentary about the news around or
Right. Well,
word
also,
around the
It
city.
hasn't come up at our commission that there was a vacancy or there was
We
a
haven't been mentioning
listing
it.
for a vacancy.
We haven't been, and we have been because of that perception that
Okay.
we were,
All right.
it was beyond a perception that we were holding off because we weren't sure if the number of commissioners, maximum number of commissioners was going to change. But it is going to stay at this level of 7, so
Okay.
we're accepting all applications.
Okay. It might be helpful to hear from the commission if there's any kind of particular expertise that we're interested in trying to bring on board to the commission. It might give some people some ideas about recruiting.
Yeah.
Grant writing.
Grant writing.
Yeah.
Grant writing. We hear there's
A
lots of money
willingness
out there,
to
but we
serve.
need help.
Yeah.
That's really the
No, grant writing, that's a great one.
only requirement.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, some sort of recreation background, either personally,
Yeah.
would be kind of nice. But yeah, if you're,
I
Gotta-
love the grant writing. I think that is a great,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That'd be a good question to ask even in the interviews.
Yeah.
yeah.
Any demographics that we're missing here?
Well, we could use some more females,
Yeah.
definitely.
Sure.
Wouldn't be
yes.
bad to skew younger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or older.
Or older, that's true.
Both,
Skew
yeah.
older.
I think
Older,
council,
younger.
I think council has that
Yeah,
covered.
yeah.
Careful.
Yeah.
Treading on thin ice.
I meant younger than myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we have this commissioner vacancy. Please, anyone out there, if you're interested, apply or contact us to discuss it. Love to hear from you. Okay. Sal, please.
Yeah, I don't have any other information either, unless you guys have any questions. We're moving on to our next activity guide. Believe it or not, I'm hoping you all got this lovely activity guide in the mail. You folks at home should have received one in the mail, valley-wide and up through Oakview, and all of you should
So
have
you're
received
still
this.
open for ads?
We are open for ads, so
When it's
October 13th, I want to say, that's Friday the 13th, is our in-house first draft.
Okay.
So if you are considering wanting to add a class to teach a class for the recreation department, put an ad in our activity guide, now's the time to get in touch with us.
Have we ever listed library stuff in there, given them a spot?
We haven't, we'd be open to that.
I think it'd be a lovely idea.
Yeah, we'd be,
Their homework help, and then they have activities going on all the time.
Yeah.
Different speakers and different, I think it'd be really nice.
we'd be open
I would
to,
appreciate,
we'd
I would
be open
appreciate
to
having
that.
it in there. I would look there for it as well.
Yeah, that's where I work, so.
Well, you should contact us, Maya, and, come up with an ad
Yeah.
It also might be,
for our guide.
might
Yes.
help you, I'm just scanning it and I don't see it unless I've missed it,
Yes,
what the cost of advertising is for how much.
okay, possibly put that in
What
there,
if you put an ad in for ads?
an ad for ads.
A small ad
You're
for
gonna have to pay
ads.
premium.
We could
Yeah.
do an ad for ads,
But it might not be a bad idea,
because this guide does go to, wow,
The whole,
the
Yeah.
whole valley,
We-
including Oakview, so.
but you have
make a good
guidelines for
point.
what you'll put in there too, don't you?
We don't.
Oh, I thought we did.
The guideline is, it's at the manager's discretion.
Okay.
That's the guideline. It would be too far-reaching, I mean, there's
Just for
so
instance,
many.
we don't
I
do
might be
alcohol
interested
ads.
in
Right,
advertising.
we don't.
That's all. I'm just saying there's a couple of,
There, it is, and it's discretionary, of course, it's as space available, and it,
Yeah.
and it is, it's to the recreation manager's discretion as to what goes in there, but yeah, certainly no alcohol, cigarettes, things of that nature. We generally try to stay in the realm of
recreation,
recreation or people who offer,
youth services.
Youth services,
or-
youth
yeah,
services.
There's kind of a theme to it.
yeah, there's more of a, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it does.
Mostly youth or community-related, it doesn't have to be youth or adult community-related
yeah.
activities.
Ad in there for chaperone.
Not all are. We have our, like a Lightning Ridge is in there, one of our actual vendors they provide services for us.
Okay.
T-shirts, summer shirts and things like
I'm
that.
excited about the library thing. I think
Yeah,
that's worth
I do
it.
think it's
Oh, I
great.
think it's a great
If you
idea.
want to add that.
Since we're already mailing it, we might as well help
But
out.
I do
Good
think
idea.
there's something to say about the advertising too, like a ad for ads.
Yeah.
You have a spot for it right there.
Yeah.
The post office has
Well, I
that
mean,
spot.
there's
Yeah,
a-
yeah, yeah, that's their spot. Oh, I know what you mean. Okay, ad for ads. I got you.
Okay,
Okay,
anything else on
great.
staff?
No.
Great. Okay, commissioner committee reports and comments?
I talked about the workshop. That's about it. What we have right now. Hopefully, we'll plan another ping pong night or something soon because that was a lot of fun.
Good. That's great.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that these workshops are happening. That's very impressive. Thanks for
We'll
putting
have
that
to-
together.
We'll have to figure out how to get the word out.
Well, since OUSD has approved the workshops, I'm hoping to be able to put up the flyers
Good.
at Nordhoff. So,
And be able to get it out in the news and all
yes,
of that.
and the
Okay.
bulletin
Good.
and everything.
Has there been anything in the local paper? So parents would know about this and might
Not
That's
that
a
I
very
know
good
of.
point,
have their
actually.
kids go.
There's not much time, but
Don't
worth a try.
think so.
Probably get something in the next edition, which
Yeah.
would be probably the perfect time.
Okay.
Well, the paper's been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook now too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could even just do a blast on Facebook.
I will contact them.
Great idea. That's a great
But
idea.
I just think, I don't think parents will see the thing on Facebook, but they might see the thing in the paper
Yeah.
and have their kids go, even if the kids don't want to. Right, I mean, it's a great opportunity. I mean, for some kids, it's not important, but for the parents, it is, because they're paying.
Yeah.
There'll be some,
Not,
True.
it's free.
it is,
Right.
they're
No,
all
I mean,
free.
but they're paying for
Oh,
college.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So scholarships and things like that become
That'd be huge.
more important. right?
Exactly.
There will be a small amount of food and drink
Yes.
there too.
There will be beverages and,
And
snacks.
snacks,
That usually seems to bring in the people.
Yes. Promise food. Okay.
just like the little dog
Burn machine will
treats.
be going.
Okay, anything else on youth committee?
That's all for now.
Great, thank you. Any other committee updates? I've got a little bit from the bike park. John Lamar said he's been busy working on other stuff for the past month, but he's about to wrap up that work and get back to the bike park work that he's been
Great.
doing.
Nice.
Anything else? Committees? Okay. City council liaison report?
They've had so many special meetings
uh,
lately.
Actually, it's Councilmember Francina, and she did notify City Hall, and that was forwarded to me, that she sends her regrets, that she's aware that she's the liaison, but she is unable to make it tonight, but looks forward to our joint meeting.
Nice.
Great, yeah. Okay, so we're on the radar.
Yeah.
Future meeting dates and agenda items. So our next meeting is scheduled for November 2nd. I don't know, let's see, of these ad hoc committees that we just formed, would that give any of them enough time to bring something back? No.
Gives you 3 weeks.
Probably
Not even.
not, since we don't even have a meeting
I mean,
scheduled
yeah,
yet already.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, but that
Yeah.
might be wishful thinking too.
Okay,
If it is, we can just do it under committee work.
right.
Yeah.
We
Sure.
won't have to agendize it, we can just
Right.
Yep.
share it.
Agreed.
Okay. What do we have for November?
We had put some things off, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the previous.
I didn't bring my notes from home.
I don't recall that we had anything.
Is there any issue with putting things on the agenda that we don't mention now?
No. As long as you,
No.
We can go back.
yeah.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
long
There
as-
was-
just as long as
The
you have
only
the
thing that
time
was
to-
in September, or what was that, August? September meeting was stuff we had to cover tonight. Ad hoc committee, Soul Park,
Yeah.
all that.
Sort of
Sarasota.
on that, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're just, whew.
Yeah.
Chaparral.
My kind of-
From the Sarzati Park plan, it might be good to talk about the multi-sport courts and what our game plan is for
I think it's a great idea.
pushing those forward.
So make that an agenda item.
Yeah,
Since that's the first thing on the priority list.
And then we could flesh out the questions we need answered.
right,
And then send that forward and then just keep putting it on our agenda.
yeah. Is there anything else from this list that we want to talk about at that time?
I think it's good to focus.
Anyone?
I agree with Sage.
Great. Okay.
We still have the bathrooms coming back at some point, and they should be
I was
coming
gonna
back
say the
soon,
upper
because
restrooms, right?
I know they've come up with some plans and done some stuff, I just don't know where we're at for Libby. So,
That might be an invite to Mr.
Great.
Grant.
Yeah, because
Which
they
it
gave us
wouldn't- and it
3
wouldn't-
options.
And you
last
could do
time.
it as a
I
discussion.
think it's moved from there, so.
Yeah.
And
But you
then-
want it as a discussion item possibly?
Yeah,
Okay.
why don't we do that?
And then if we're having the discussion of the sport courts, hopefully we could do that at the same time, and he could hear
Yeah.
what we're talking about, so can gather the information or help us get pointed in the right direction.
Okay, so we've got 2 items, multi-sport courts and Upper Libby bathrooms. And we will try to get Mr. Grant here,
Yes.
go through that with us.
And then you were gonna,
Like it.
I don't think I've ever been at a meeting where there was an actual police report of what's going on.
You-
That's
yes,
been a-
you know-
We've had them,
We've had them, well, maybe not, I don't know, since you've been on the commission, but the one night where I rallied them here, that was the one where we canceled the meeting. at the last minute.
We had them
So I
a
think
couple of
we-
months ago.
Yeah,
They were here a couple of months ago.
they were coming more regularly.
Yeah.
And I
We've
did
seen-
some encouragement before this meeting, but I think I need to do it prior, I mean, they
Far in
get
advance.
yeah, far in advance. Yeah, even though they get the agenda sent
Yep.
to them. And then I sent an email today. I think I need to do it.
Well, there
2
might
or
be-
3
I
days
think there are
prior and
also
really
Other
show them.
variables.
Yeah,
But-
we don't know their schedule and priorities truthfully, but
Right,
They have been here in the last few months, though.
yeah.
yeah.
And I think also, I mean, if we have specific concerns
Or
that
questions, yeah.
or questions that we'd
Yeah.
like to discuss with them, then it'd be more important that they were here, but I'm not even
Yeah.
hearing that, so.
Yeah, it is nice to get updates on calls out to the various parks and if there's anything of significance. We wouldn't know if there is because we're not in that world. So, but again, as far as what I haven't heard. If there are issues going on at the skate park, we'll get calls from time to time at the rec, or even Libby or wherever. I'll get messages from even staff, our own staff, but all's quiet on the Western Front.
All right. I'm waving this thing. Oh, we have to wait until 8 to finish the meeting. Okay, I think we're adjourned.
Well done.
Got a sense of humor.
I have a new secretary
Yeah,
and my club does not know how to do agendas.
Oh, as an example, okay. Well, it's not something you just know.
True.
Okay, so I will send you.
Yeah, okay.
Construction. Then to put in there, is that all your.